Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. We are here, Blue Collar Hustle, and guess what? Today, we have a surprise guest for you, and I'm proud because this guest isn't actually, we didn't plan this, just like anything else. We're kind of newbies starting this out. We want to see what's going on with things, how we're going to vibe out, but I love the fact that my network is a lot of my family and friends, and this one happens to be someone that I actually deem more family than friend because our families have known each other literally since I've been single digits. I remember when you were born and your mom was telling me how big you were, and I was like, oh God, I was a giant baby. And here he is 30-something years later, and he's sitting on our podcast. He's a career-driven guy. He's in another family business of his own. We'll get into that. Ladies and gentlemen, we have Frankie here. Frankie the Broker, we're going to deem him. Frankie the Broker. Frankie, tell us a tiny little piece about yourself because we're going to get into a little bit more as we go, but give a little background.
My name is Frankie Gingarelli. I'm a commercial insurance broker. Born and raised in Vernon. I never left. Bought my childhood home about 4 years ago. I'm raising my own family in it now. My daughter is in the same nursery that my brother and my sister and myself were all in.
That's amazing.
I'm sorry. What's your last name?
Gingarelli. It's Gingarelli. But if you say Gingarelli in front of my grandmother, God rest her soul, I would get backhanded with a spoon so quick. So when it's strangers or whatever, as I present myself, that is the proper way to say it.
That's crazy. Do you know, after I just said that I've known him and he's part of the family, I've never heard that way of saying the name.
Get it. You never heard it once.
Never.
That's how I answer my phone every day.
What in God's... This is a whole new day.
Hi, my name is Luis Gingarelli.
Yeah. That's almost like calling me Samson. That's how different it sounds in my ear. Holy mackerel.
I mean, as a kid, you would say Gingarelli, you hear ginger ale, gingivitis.
Well, yeah.
So it was always
rough ones.
Yeah, but I was always Frankie G, and that was always my name, and that's what branded it.
I love that today brought you here as Frankie the Broker because that's what we're gonna be. We're gonna go back and forth a little bit on time, but I love that it's Frankie the Broker because before we turned on this camera, we were talking about branding ourselves and you're asking me kind of like why I'm doing this, what is the benefit, and all the little ins and outs. And for me, I've always kind of just been my last name, and it's been our brand. It's my name. It's everything. And I love Frankie the Broker. Tell me that's not going to go sky high on the old social over there, rookie. Frankie the Broker? Shit. Oh, yeah. Annie's Italian? Jesus. The mozzarella. He said mozz?
Mozzarella.
Yeah, he said mozz. He said mozz. Oh, my God. He's Dominican now, so it's... Oh, man. But that is a crushing name. You got that coined yet on social?
I should.
Oh my God! By the way, today we're bringing him up. He came into the podcast. He's like, "Let me check this out. I just want to see." I'm like, "Guess what? You're my guest today," and you got to jump into it. Much like what we've talked about in previous episodes, this place here, the Blue Collar Hustle, is I'd like to have it feel not for people that are intimidated by us. This is just entry level. You've been on a podcast before?
Never.
And I just started one. What better to do it together?
I love it.
I love that, and we got some family connections, and we're gonna dive into it. So right away, Frankie the Broker. After this is over, we definitely got to coin that on his Insta and social and do all that like today.
I've been Frank JG on social for probably about 15 years, or ever since Instagram came. Yeah, I would say about 15 years.
Rookie, you could change your name and keep your account, right?
Yeah, but if he's having for what? 15 years?
I had it since 2010, Instagram.
Yeah, but what do you got? How many, you got a good following?
I don't even know. I don't average 1,400, 1,500, something like that.
So just change your handle and then leave the name the same.
Yeah, no, you could definitely change the name. I got my first name by being a waiter in a kitchen. There was this French cook, and I was a waiter at Crystal Springs Tavern. And he couldn't say Frank. He would say Frank.
Frank.
That's where Frank JG came from.
That's your name in what is that, French?
I guess.
Frank? I don't know. Whatever. I don't know shit. But Frankie's always been in sales, so we're going to stick to the sales part first because the Blue Collar Hustle is we love all, whether it be white collar work and sales stuff. You don't always have to be swinging the tools, even though you did. A little bit.
I did for a while.
Yeah,
Mixed some mud, swung some hammers through college, Jack of all trades.
Jack of all trades, master of none. It's a terrible sentence. I always hated that sentence. But, Frank, you were in sales, basically starting off in your career after all that, money making, hammer swinging, trowel throwing stuff happened and it was over, I'm not getting that dirty. So you went into sales because you got a good gift of gab.
I do. I have it in our blood. I was always in sales. I went to a job interview at A&P, which is now the Acme, when I was about 19.
Yeah.
And I knocked some cans out of an old lady's hand. I was about to have a job interview. She said, "You don't want to work here." She goes, go sell cars. You'll make money. And I went and got a job interview and sold cars. And that paid my way through school. I went to school at night. I sold cars during the day. I was still top salesman. I knew right then and there that if you could make $2,000-$3,000 a day selling a car, when it took some of my friends a month to do that, I was like, I never turned back after that.
So what we like to do here is like we like to give advice a little bit because of people that are watching. I'm thinking people that are watching might not be seasoned and they're nervous about starting out. I always like to ask people what their advice would be for someone that's nervous. Like at that moment, at that supermarket, you were thinking you're about to sling bread on this, and it just changed. Something happened. That was luck and timing. But what would you tell somebody that is young and nervous about what direction they want to take? And if they got some charisma and they got some gift of gab, how would they be able to enter into a sales job with no experience?
Don't sell. That's the number one advice. Whether you're just getting started, you're on a job interview, or you've been in sales for a decade, and it's your biggest appointment. If you land it, you're, changing your life. Take sales out of the equation. Talk to somebody. Become personable. Become likable. Become trustworthy. Take sales out of it. Be yourself. Now, if you're dry and you suck, well, then sales ain't for you.
Exactly. You got to be self-aware of what you're good at.
You got to
right?
be extroverted. You got to be personable. You got to be able to talk to people. You got to have interest, even if it's not interesting. Don't.
Oh, say
sell.
that again. Say that again.
You got to have interest, even if it's not interesting.
I love that line. We get these fucking gold lines out of here now, and I just love it because it's not everybody's going to be what they think they're going to be, and they might have these hidden strengths, So many people I run into, they're really good talkers, but they're doing something that is not it's not benefiting their strength in their life and how they were brought up, and they got to hone it. And they get
happens
nervous.
all the time.
Yeah,
It happens all the time. It's wasted talent. Some people don't know it. This 2 years into selling cars, this one guy, Clem, I'll never forget it. He was the nicest guy. He was like in his late 50s. He was broke as a joke. He was getting his car repoed, and he was such a nice guy. That next month, he was the top salesman. He beat the top salesman who never was beaten, Dino Riccio, king of cars, beat him. He had a hidden gift, and it took him to get a job at a car sales lot to figure out that he was not only acting as a good person, but people viewed him as a good person. That's all he ever knew.
yeah. These hidden talents and these young kids, I get a little nervous. We had one of our episodes was talking about the inability to communicate with the Gen X and Gen Z people on not knowing how to. And I'm actually in that episode, I was telling them like I back off instead of being argumentative. A lot of our older guys, they're going to be argumentative. It's my way or the highway mentality. I don't think like that anymore because I have someone in the office. I even said this before that is that generation younger. I know they think differently. As a boss, new salespeople coming in, would you recommend the same thing? Hey, just let them go. Let them do their thing. It's a different world now. You're not going to sell the same way at 55 that you are at 25.
Yeah.
And those 55s pushing the 55 model on the 25-year-old mojo is going to mess them up, I would think. Let them fly with some structure on what you want, but let them fly.
I couldn't agree more. And one-on-one in sales that I learned, rule number one, be kind. Be really kind. Someone puts a wall up, they're putting the wall up for a reason. If you can't uncover it and they're going to keep putting the wall up, see you later. It's not a client you're going to want anyway.
Yeah, in our world, I get a little. I'm actually in the middle of it right now, just kind of determining whether I'm going to give guys that are new hires sales training. Right, I am not of the model or culture in a business that I want to make that customer in my business feel as though I'm pressuring them in any way or capacity. I want to provide them a solution, give them a solution to their problem rather, and and just provide my value, build some trust, and if it lands me a sale at that moment, great. If it doesn't, I have some follow up procedure, good, boom, boom. But man, some of these like one call close things, I just can't get on board. It's super successful for a lot of people, super successful, but I just can't get on board with that. Like sign here, sign now, sitting at the table for 10 hours, and you got to get thrown out, and then now it's awkward.
It's a thing in the past, creating urgency. Yeah, I mean, sometimes it has to be done, but it needs to be done and delegated properly. You can't say, this is the deal, I need to answer right now, or we could potentially lose it. Nobody likes that.
I got models of business training that's still being trained, and it's working for people. It's working. And I'm like, I just don't want that in my culture, our business model, I guess. Then maybe am I going to lose revenue on it? Maybe I might lose it to these one call closers that's sitting there all the way to 8, and then some, mom and pop finally just gave up to Tommy. Tommy, fine, here, get out.
It's all about asking the right questions and being able to answer your phone. If you're in a high pressure, like, in my business, for instance, everything's dated for effective dates. So if you don't get to a certain spot by the effective date or have the information that you need, you're shit out of luck. You're dead in the water.
We jumped topics right there. We got to tell Frankie. We got to tell everybody what Frankie does now. Frankie, now you're in an insurance world. Yes,
I'm an insurance broker.
And the reason.
That's a dirty world.
Yeah, it's a little rough. I will say
it's a tough business.
This is like having like the villains at the table a little bit, but I'd like to try to have you shed some light on changing that narrative of contractors just being like, oh, God, it's fucking insurance, like that. And Frankie, you're heavy in the industrial and blue collar world. You got a good vibe for that.
Sure.
Dad was what, truck driver, you said?
Truck driver for 50 years.
And brother did some plumbing when he was, or no, what was he doing?
He did plumbing. We both got our teeth cut mixing cement for a local mason, and we pretty much did it all before we got here.
Yeah, so you got some vibes for the blue collar, so you know how to talk to them when you walk into the office. But still, why is it that insurance is still such an ugly topic to be able to talk about with contractors? Obviously, I know the right away. Why do I got to pay you so much? We ain't doing nothing.
It's completely a double-edged sword with insurance. I mean, at the end of the day, we're always just the middleman, right? That's our job, to communicate from the insurance company to the blue-collar world. That's our job. We can't control what the insurance company is going to say, but we can try to massage to the underwriters and the insurance companies what you do so you could have a more profitable year.
Hold on, we got to lay it on. We got to stay on that because he was just massaging, and we got to say that because that's something that as a lot of contractors, we want a lot of massaging. We want to know that person that's going to be taking our policies is going to do that massaging, and we oftentimes don't know the right. I'm about to say, we often don't know the right questions to ask when we're in the massage parlor.
Sure.
We don't know. It's like we don't know. Is this? Can I get special treatment here? Or we don't know. I don't know the legalities. And then you get some people that are saying I need the gamut of policies just to even be in business. And then I have another broker that writes me a policy, that day, and I'm out the door. It creates confusion in a lot of contractors. We're like, how come this guy's got this policy at X dollars and this guy's got this policy at X dollars, and they do the same thing? So it's education, probably, right?
Yeah.
A lot of us are uneducated as fuck around here about how their insurance works. They just want to know, do I have a policy? Yes or no?
Yeah. That's a very easy one. I mean, any broker out there, it's really going to come down to your broker at the end of the day, right? A broker may not give a shit, and they'll misclass you. What do? I put paint on the wall. Okay, do you really do that? Well, I do some roofs. All right, great. We'll class you as a painter. That's fine. And it may be a cheaper policy opposed to someone that's actually classed as a roofer. That guy has a claim and he falls through a roof. It ain't fucking covered. And he's classed as a painter. So I get that question all the time, especially in trucking. Like, this guy's paying 20 grand. Why am I paying 60 grand? He's classed differently. He's using a 50-mile radius. He's really going 2,000 miles.
So how would a contractor get educated before? Because this is a legit question for me. Even how would a contractor get educated on the right questions to ask, because this is the other thing that gets me all weird. It's like relationships. If I'm just dating, I want to see, what's your favorite color? What's your favorite movie? Do you like long walks on the beach? Or do you like bike riding and fishing and kayaking? Like, I want to know, and then I'm going to pick which one I like, right?
Yeah.
I'm going to pick which one I like. With insurance, I feel like I'm locked in the moment I ask, the moment I inquire. I can't double dip and really, really shop around. How does a contractor really get educated first about the right questions to ask for both proper coverage and the right massage to at least be profitable if they're a young business and just trying to, keep food on the table and not on insurance policies?
I mean, first and foremost, it's a laugh now, cry later type of thing. And that could follow any type of line of coverage. I mainly say for workers' comp, payroll. Is that your actual payroll or are you fluffing it? Because if what happens, that's what happens.
But can they ask that question?
Sure, they absolutely can.
Because I'm dead honest. I feel like every time I go into a broker's office, I feel like I'm being interrogated, that I already committed a crime, and I'm at the detective bureau, and I'm about to go to jail. I don't want to go to jail. How do I ask the right question to say, I didn't do it. I might have been at the scene of the crime, but I didn't do. Like, you know what I mean? Like I don't know the right questions to ask all the time to know that I'm having the right coverage.
Sure. I mean, transparency is key, first and foremost. Always tell the truth with insurance, because it can bite you in the ass. Some people don't like doing that, and then it bites them in the ass, and then they're mad, and that's what kind of portrays this image to insurance companies. I think the right questions to ask are simple. What kind of company are you putting me with? Is it an A-rated carrier, or is it a wholesale carrier? People should know the difference.
I have no idea what that means.
A wholesale carrier is basically like the Sam's Club of Pepsi. It's still soda, but it's not as good. So, you have a claim with an A-rated carrier, you should expect a call within 24 hours. You have a claim with a wholesale carrier, good luck having them call you back. That should be like for anyone getting their feet wet, that should be number one. What carrier are you putting me with? Your broker should always give you options. Always. Here's top of the line. It's $10,000 more. Here's the dog shit. It's cheap. Good luck. Here's a 1-800 number. I'll always help and facilitate a claim.
That's pretty good. No, that was great that you said that, because I don't think a lot of brokers do that, to be honest with you. I don't have very many that
brokers don't tell clients that. They always go right at the cheapest price. I'm the cheapest price that I win. Please buy this. No.
Or the opposite. I'm not even taking you on as a client unless you're up here, top tier premiums.
Yeah.
I remember getting asked, like, how much payroll do you have? I'm like, how much do I need? Because I don't like getting asked the questions like that. My answer is going to reflect on how much my bill is immediately without a little bit of education.
Sure.
And I remember them saying, I'm like, I do 10 grand. I'm lying completely. And well, sir, the minimum is 50. So then why didn't you tell me the minimum is 50 instead of asking me the question?
They should have. They should have done that.
This is what I'm saying.
Minimum payroll in the state of New Jersey changes every year. It fluctuates. So, I mean, last year was 38,800. This year it's about 41,000. It's all state driven. It's all state recommendations. We just follow it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So we're kind of like, it's kind of like the Wizard of Oz, right? There's a guy behind the curtain, but we're in the front, and we're kind of dictated by it, or else we can't write the policy.
Yeah. I'll tell you one policy related crazy story. I had a policy, and it was before I was a full-fledged roofing company, but we still did roofing, right? And to your point about writing what's written in the policies, I actually lucked out because they messed up. We had a roof in progress along the Hudson in the fall. Hurricane comes. I mean, we're in the middle of it. There's no doubt I'm having a problem. I can't stop it. Can't stop a hurricane. It was coming. We did our best to hold it down. Mm-hmm. Hurricane rips that roof right off. Just floating in the Hudson, right?
Yep.
Now, at the time, this is years ago, at the time, I had a little interim where I had a dual company. We had a construction company that was still doing roofing. And they immediately came out, oh, your policy isn't written for roofing. We're not covering you. I'm like, where does it say it?
It's at the end of the policy.
Negative. They did not put it in exclusions. That roofing was excluded, and because they didn't put it in the exclusions, they had to take care of the claim.
Get the fuck
So I lucked out massively.
Yeah, you did.
Because
and you were in New York too. You said
no,
right, on the
I
Hudson?
was on Jersey side of the Hudson.
Oh, okay.
But to the point, like it could go both ways. The insurance company basically got screwed because I was doing a roof and I classed as a construction company with a little sliver of roofing down at the bottom, but this project was clearly above that. But you know, when you're starting out, you gotta shuck and jive a little bit. But that roof got sucked into the Hudson. It's down. It was probably I think it was $1 million worth of overall claims because you know it was in a place that you know, it wasn't a workmanship thing. The roof got sucked off by a hurricane. Literally, it pulled off a 500-pound piece of equipment because it was closed, just poof, off into the water.
Can't control that stuff.
I'm beat. What are you gonna do?
You can't control that stuff. Mainly, it's always at the end of the policy. Whenever anybody,
The exclusions. And if it's not in the exclusions, I was told that if it's not in the exclusions, even though it's not in the inclusions, they still got to cover you.
kind of.
Long as it's kind of. Long as it's kind of.
The end of the policy, who's going to go read a 250-page policy?
Not me. I never
right?
did that.
If there's an exclusions page and it's not in there, okay, that's one part. But you also have to look at the perils. Any individual thing that could cause it, a peril.
You know
If
what I
it's an
blamed it on?
excluded peril.
I blamed that on a plumbing pipe, and I had plumbing in my policy at the time because we were doing interior work, and because I had it on plumbing and they touched on plumbing, got it.
Proximate cause. The proximate
it.
cause was the plumbing,
Yeah.
and it would go to
All that stuff to say everything, though, it's really tough for young contractors or youthful contractors or even contractors that have been in business for a long time that just kind of been hovering down here.
Yep.
It's tough to understand that stuff. And really, the right broker is key. Yes.
I couldn't agree more. It's all about the broker that you get, and I really got to add to it. It's a really hardening market right now. I've witnessed at least 3 or 4 big businesses close their door this year because they cannot afford the premiums for insurance. I lost them as a client. They couldn't afford it. Insurance is doubling for some of the clients that I had for no reason. And no losses.
I don't know if you know this part because this isn't in our specific Northeast region, but the storm issues, down in the, down Florida and across the Midwest when storms and specifically in roofing, there's thousands of jobs a year on storm damage for all these companies, and they're making tons of money on the back of insurance claims. You got hail damage, you got wind damage, boom, full replacement. It's, in my opinion, it's just messing up everything. I don't know. Do you have any? Is that in your world? I know we're not in that world up here.
Yeah. So
do you see any of that?
I mean, Florida's the kiss of death right now. It's just as bad as New York City. Like, you go to the city, there's so much exposure. Right? It's really tough. If you have a business in New York City, it's really tough to insure. And if it is insurable, it's expensive because of the exposure. Same thing with Florida. How many catastrophic events have happened to Florida in the past 5 years?
They're rolling. They just roll through the through the panhandle and they just keep going every year. So like up here, what I'm starting to see insurance-wise, I don't know if it's because they're trying to recoup and not even have these claims. Up here where there's not storm damage, every day we're doing one literally today, but where the insurance coverage is just because of its age. I don't even have to have leaks. It doesn't even have to look terribly bad. But if it doesn't have a replacement, if it looks old, like no replacement in the last 15 years, they're just saying, I'm not going to cover you. You got to replace your roof. They're forcing homeowners to replace it on their dime before it becomes their dime.
In the policy, it would read negligence.
That's crazy.
If a roof needs to get done, you tell me 15 years, 20 years?
No, some of these roofs are now really, really old. Like I can put a 30, 40, 50-year roof on.
I just mean like as far as like how long a roof should last.
Yeah, I guess roofs that are 20 years old already, they were before the marketed better shingles. But still, man, for the insurance companies to just outright just say, boom, you got to change your roof. No leaks, no wind damage, no hail damage, nothing. It's just old.
It's a really hardening market. I cannot stress that enough. I have a 4-year-old roof. My roof is awesome. I have a 4-year-old roof. I had an inspection from my homeowner's insurance company, which will remain nameless for this podcast. And I write tons of business with them every day. The underwriters are great. Everybody's really nice as pie. They pick up the phone on the first ring. They're awesome. They sent out an inspector. because my renewal's coming up. They said that my shingles need to get replaced
When?
2 months ago.
Get drunk.
It's a 4-year-old roof.
They're drunk. What'd they do? Drone?
I said I would like some documentation to back up this, please. They showed me a picture of one shingle flapped up a hair. It was like a 17-mile-per-hour wind day that day. They're saying, oh, you're going to need your shingles done.
That's crazy.
I fought it. I took more pictures. I was like, just so you know, I'm a broker for you guys.
Yeah.
Come on. Like,
They're trying to get you.
yeah, listen, I don't represent insurance companies. I represent my clients. Of course, insurance is a pain in the ass. Of course, it's dry, right? I'm not ever in agreement. Oh, the insurance company's kind of right. My job here is always to be the middleman and always try to prep the client, whether it's a startup or you're 30 years in business. I need to prep you on what they're going to ask you, how they're going to ask it. I can't tell you what to say. That's one thing I always tell clients. They always say, well, what should I say? What payroll should I use? What should I use for my building limit? I can't. I'll lose my license. Figure it out. Go on Property Shark. It's 2024. You have this at your fingertips.
Yeah, but we ain't using that.
I mean, anybody that will underwrite a business, a property, a home, the first thing they're going to do is put the address in Google Maps.
Yeah.
They're going to make sure it's fine. Do you have a trampoline? No, I don't have a trampoline. Google Maps says he does. It's only a couple. Only a couple weeks old. The Google Maps.
Goddamn satellites.
Yeah, I mean, no one's safe anymore, man.
Goddamn satellites.
It's kind of messed up. It's scary, man. I Google Earth my house.
What's that word? They're always watching, or
Big Brother.
Big Brother's always watching. It's his eyes always looking.
I Google Earth my house, and I got so close to my house, I could see the color of my jet ski in my backyard on the trailer.
That's weird because I know where you live, and that's stuff.
scary.
Usually the satellite imagery is no good up there.
I could see the color of the jet ski in my backyard, man.
I did it yesterday, and I saw my car parked in the driveway, like in my mom's house.
Jesus.
A few months ago, because I just moved.
That's scary, dude. It's only gonna get worse.
So we're gonna pivot right now. We're gonna just take a little bit of cheers. You got a little cheers left or no?
Sure.
We'll do a little cheers.
Salud.
Salud. So again, we're doing tequila. We do little stories and spirits. Always on the podcast. That's Blue Collar. And we're gonna pivot because what I like about Frankie's dynamic here is that he's also family. We're gonna dive. We're gonna go there. It's sensitive, right? Family sensitive. I've had so many sensitive moments throughout my life and business career with family that it's not a problem. It's just an experience. It's a navigation of what you're going to do for your own life, regardless of your family. Sure. But I'm going to say it. Tell us how it is working with your family, specifically. I know.
Sure. I mean, so my brother's my boss. If you asked him tomorrow, he would never say I'm your boss. He would always say I work with you. I don't work against you.
Yeah, but the dynamic is there, and it's just there.
Listen, I mean, anyone that will tell you that they work with family, they'll tell you don't do it. And that's what everybody told me. They said, don't do it. It's going to destroy your relationship. I will say it's done actually the complete opposite. It's made us even closer. My brother's my best friend. He's the godfather to my child. He's my boss. He signs my paychecks. I mean, there's times where he tells you stuff that, he told you 30 times. And I stop him like, you told me this already. But at the end of the day, he's just trying to help me. It's tough working with family. But as long as you always remember they only want what's best for you and they're going to teach you everything that made them successful, you really can't hate them for it. I mean, I'm a 34-year-old commercial insurance broker. I don't exist. Everybody that does my job is in their 50s, 60s. They're dying in the chair.
Yeah. I actually say the opposite. I think you exist way more than the 50 and 60-year-olds do because we have this little theory and thought about here. All the people that are successful and running their businesses off of models that are 10, 20 years old. I said this line, oh man, it's becoming repetitive actually. How much longer can they survive on that model when the 34-year-old broker that you say doesn't exist smashes social media, marketing, exposure? You're on a podcast right now, smashes that and just starts soaring to where now you're creating numbers and books of business that they wish they had, and you're doing it now on the model of today. I actually don't think that you don't exist. I think you exist more so than they ever did before. You might be thinking about their book of business, their experience. Maybe they got a bank account that they're sitting on, but that bank account is what they're going to be sitting on as they're retiring.
Sure, they built their book.
You're going to smash this industry in a whole different way with your social media, with your marketing, with your with how you want to do business now. And I actually like that you said that about the family made you stronger, because I didn't really. I actually I took over the family business right at a very volatile time, and it made it ugly.
Sure.
And then it took a minute to rekindle and get better.
Sure.
And it's just a dynamic of family. It's tough. No one's ever going to see eye to eye. Dad always thinks the son's you got to do what I say, or why do it? It's not right.
Of course.
Until you did it right, and they're like, I'm proud of you, son.
Yeah. That happens all the time.
Yeah, it's just is what it is. So,
You say, I'm sorry, I have a question.
Sure.
Your brother has an insurance company,
Correct.
and you are a broker for your brother.
Correct.
So how you manage that company and then client relationship when it comes to a claim or something? I don't know.
I'm not sure I understand.
So like you say you work for the insurance company, but you also work for the client.
Correct. Oh, yeah. Okay.
Yeah, so how do you manage that?
So people hire you to go get insurance for them, right? So at the end of the day, think of it as an attorney, right? I don't want to be branded as an attorney. I guess it's better than a car salesman, really. But
we're a salesman. We're a salesman. That's it.
You represent your client. That's what you do when you come to the table when you go to any insurance carrier. So that's what I mean by I represent my client. I work for my clients. I don't work for the insurance company. I work for my clients. I represent them. They don't sign my checks, but there will be no checks without them. See what I mean? Yeah. I work for my brother. I work for his insurance brokerage. He works very hard. He earned the right to be in the position to buy his insurance brokerage. Maybe I could be in that position one day too. He missed his kids growing up. I remember his kids are 16 months apart.
Your brother. I mean, I know your brother more so than I know you. Your brother put his head down and worked.
He did, which is why now it's like, hey, I have another baby on the way with a toddler at home destroying my house. I'm going to be the sole income for the next 2 years probably. I don't want to put a newborn in daycare. I would never do that. I would rather be broke. So now it's like, fuck, I got to make more money. And when I go and present it to my brother, he's like, how many hours did you work last week? How many leads did you get? How's your pipeline? And he's not wrong about any of it, because he's living proof that doing those things will get you where you need to be.
Yeah, no, that's that nice little sweet spot, because you're not so distant in age that lands really hard. Are you working? Auditing your time. We were talking about that before. Auditing your time, right?
Yeah.
So how much time are you doing things that aren't working on your business? Well, shit. I was doom. What do you call it? Doom scrolling. I was doom scrolling for freaking 2 hours while I was on the toilet. Yeah, so doom scrolling. I might be, I don't know if the kids call it that, but do this when you get just stuck, just scrolling, sitting there.
Social media knows what they're doing. You find one nice reel, they come up with something else that you like, and then you watch that. It happens.
They're so
Everybody's
smart.
guilty of it.
The algorithm is so smart.
They're getting, I don't know. I think in a nutshell, I'm in a very great position. I think right now, I may not be a millionaire. I may not have a 20,000 square foot home, but in my eye, I'm already rich.
That's great that you said that, because I actually said that also previous. I love that we have reoccurring themes here, right? You feeling that? We got reoccurring themes about buying back your time, choosing what is your time. If you want monies, he just posted something. You want monies? All right, great. Monies is great. Or do you want time? Like you just got done saying, sometimes when you put your head down to work building an empire, you miss your kids growing up. You got to pick something. You got to make those choices, and those choices are going to live with you.
Yeah, no, I couldn't agree anymore. I think I would rather be broke, just paying my bills, if it means I could watch my kids grow up. Because my one toddler right now, she's almost 2.5. The shit that I see every day right now, she's riding my 90-pound chocolate lab across my living room naked and laughing.
It's the best.
That's fucking priceless. It's so I watch shit like that, and I go to bed and I get like emotional. I'm like, oh my God, like this is happening in my childhood home, nonetheless, where I ran around naked. Like, it's really surreal stuff, man. And
I like that too, because the blue collar hustle stuff, that's another like bridge we want to break, is the inability for people to feel emotional about what they're doing. I don't give a shit if I'm crying. I don't care if things make me go. If you're not crying, if you're not passionate about something, what are you doing?
Yeah, right.
Right? And your family is obviously one of the pillars of what it is that you're going to be doing everything in your life for. So why bury yourself doing that for them and miss some of those moments sometimes? That's what I feel now.
I don't think it's worth it.
Right?
I don't. I would like to better myself, and I think I'm doing pretty good right now. I would like to do better.
I
Everybody
like
wants to do better.
I like a little twist on it. Not that it's not worth it to choose, building your business over spending time with your family, because it's going to be there's going to be a moment in time where that's going to be. But communicating with the family enough to be like, guys, my head's gonna be down for X amount of time. I gotta go. We're gonna build this stuff, but then recoil back and do that. Open communication.
I literally just said that to my wife verbatim last night. I said, look, right now the way that it is, she works late and she's really pregnant and she's got to work pretty much right up to the end. So I'm making dinner. I'm making sure the dog's fed. Like, there's dishes in there. I try to wash them for her. Like, I try to get home a little early. She comes home. She thanks me every night. Thank you so much. I could have done it. No problem. When this baby's born, after bonding time,
I'm out.
You're not going to see me.
Yeah, I'm out.
If I'm the sole provider
I
for
knew you
this
were gonna say
household,
that. Yeah, I'm out.
expect not to see me for 13 hours. This is going to be on you, which is why I'm doing it now. Is that okay?
So we're gonna wrap it up today here. I love that Frankie came. Man, we hit everything that the blue collar represents. We represent family. We represent the young people coming and changing that old mentality to try to create some new wealth for generational wealth. In fact, for their families. Family dynamics is just one in itself. Startups, advice for salespeople, insurance, the right questions to ask. We really full tabled it. I love it. We got to get your brother on, though. I'm going to make him come on because I know he's probably going to be awkward with it, but I don't care. We're going to just make him come on, right? We'll do another duel. We'll put another chair over there so you can soften the blow.
I would love to. I think this is great. It's really going to educate people,
And hit another topic. We love educating. All that. Family, love, education, boom. Dude, that's the end of the Blue Collar Hustle today. We're going to end on that note because the Blue Collar Hustle is just about that. So we're going to end on a high note. Cheers it up. We got to fix this the way. We got to cheers better next time. But cheers to the Blue Collar Hustle. Thank you guys for listening. Like and subscribe and do all that stuff that you love to do. Till next time, boys and girls.